Hello everyone, my name is Geert Boeks and I'm the founder of Zwam-it. And Zwam-it, that's really my thing. I can work on sustainability, achieving the sustainable development goals and making a positive impact with all values and standards that I hold dear in mind. And believe me, I never have thought, never seen in my wildest dreams that I could come here to tell you my story. I started doing business not because I was born as an entrepreneur. No, I started doing business out of necessity, the need for change and taking matters in my own hands. 6 years ago, I started as a mentor for people with disabilities at a large pharmaceutical company, and although I had the feeling that everything was going well and our people liked their work, I was tapped on my fingers. I had to plan, dictate and control, no more, no less. No more motivation our people and no more spending time listening to what's going on with them. At the same time, every Thursday, thousands of students took to the streets to demonstrate for a better environment, a better future. And I went with them. Together with my wife and 2 kids, we took the train to Brussels to walk together with 69,669 other people with lots of bells and whistles. And when we arrived home, completely cold and wet, we really felt like we had done something right. Now they must have heard us. Now there are going to be changes. But as I dragged myself out of my bed at 6 o'clock in the morning, with my head bowed, I jumped up my bike to beat my hours. The realization came that nothing has changed or is going to. It doesn't matter what you do or how much time and effort you put into it, nothing really changes. And just then, I came across this book, The Blue Economy by Günter Pauli. Highly recommended for any entrepreneur or people concerned with sustainability. Pauli states that changes always involve uncertainties. What if? How do we do this? Will we have to keep the salary? Do we have to keep the same standard of living as we do now? And by enforcing changes, you create an area of tension, a field with 2 extremes, the proponents and the opponents. And in the case of the student demonstration in Brussels, a large playing field of politics from which in the end, little or nothing good has emerged. Changes bring resistance, especially when they're taken suddenly and from above. It is much better to introduce new ideas and concepts from the bottom. And although this may now be regarded as an alternative or too innovative, in a few years' time they will be regarded as a new normal. And that's exactly what Zwam-it does. Contributing to a bottom-up movement to bring about a transition without creating resistance, by not waiting for measures to be taken from above, but by showing how it can be done better. Zwam-it works according to the principles of the circular economy. We get the most out of raw materials, we work without toxic or harmful products and design our products in such a way that they can be recycled. We complete the circle, as it were, taking into account people, the environment and society. Zwam-it revalues waste streams such as coffee grounds by growing oyster mushrooms on them. We make sure that coffee grounds don't go straight into the waste bin, but that something useful is done with them. And be sure it is very useful. Coffee is the second most traded product in the world, and only 0.2% of the biomass or the coffee plants ends up in your cup of coffee. The rest is usually considered waste. We not only reduce the amount of waste but also fix CO2 in the soil by using the elaborate coffee grounds as fertilizer for the garden, vegetable garden and plant border. To make the story complete, oyster mushrooms contain antiviral and antibacterial substances, very useful in corona times, and we stimulate the use of the mushroom as an ideal meat substitute, which saves enormous amounts of water. We base our operation on 2 areas, the business-to-business and the business-to-consumer side. For the business-to-business, we are currently working on setting up our own farm where we collect large quantities of coffee grounds for local coffee shops, restaurants and hospitals and use them for the cultivation of oyster mushrooms. The coffee stores, restaurants can buy back the oyster mushrooms and use them in their kitchen and dishes. For the consumers, we designed a DIY grow kit where people can use their own cover grounds at home to grow their own oyster mushrooms. So, that's a very brief representation of what my motives are and what Zwam-it stands for. I hope that I have been able to inspire you to dream, fight for change from the bottom up so that we can strengthen and pollinate each other to work together for a better future. Bye.